Hey, how are you? Welcome to the fourth of these little clips for our Spring into New Life outreach program, where we want to see your friends, your family, your neighbours, and even the church spring into new life with Jesus. We want to see everybody spring into new life with Jesus. Now, to help that along, we need to share our faith. I've talked about it a few times. Sharing your faith is really scary and frightening, isn't it? Rico Tice actually calls that the pain line. And he tells us we should push through that pain line. Now, I can't actually help you do that. I can't help you push through that pain line. The only thing that will is prayer and God's Spirit living in you. So you need to pray that God will help you push through that pain line and share your faith. What I can do is help you with the conversations around that or after that. And that's what these little clips are for. Now, last week we talked about, seeing into their heart and preaching into their heart. And this week's very similar. It's what do they worship? Now, when I talk about what do they worship, I'm talking about what do they, or what do you even treasure in your heart? That's what you worship and what they worship. So we need to figure that out. How do we figure that out? By asking questions. Now, it's not an interrogation, so you don't need to be too pushy, but it's just a conversation. Now, some people might like you being really upfront, like asking, are you a Christian? Or, did you grow up in a Christian home? Did you go to a Christian school or a Catholic school, a religious school? Did you even go to just something as simple as kids' church? You could ask, what do you think about God? Do you believe in heaven? How do you think you would get to heaven? Those straight up conversations, people might like that. You can go straight into sharing your faith. Some people might get a bit freaked out by that and start to back off, hey, slow down. If that's the case, you need to just back off a bit and just talk about general conversations. So, where do you work? Do you enjoy your job? Why do you actually work? Is it just for the money, or is it to provide for your family? Is it to get money to do renovations at home? What do you do on the weekend? Is it working on your home? Do you go bike riding or something like that? Just talk generally, but you're actually still getting into what do they worship, what do they treasure in their heart. Now, you can recognize that everyone worships something, can't you? But you need to remember that only God is worthy of worship. I'm going to read to you again from the Bible. It's Acts, and it's chapter 17, verse 24. The God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth, and does not live in temples built by human hands, and he is not served by human hands as if he needed anything. Rather, he himself gives everyone life and breath and everything else. From one man he made all the nations, that they should inhabit the whole earth, and he marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands. God did this that they would seek him and perhaps reach out to him and find him. Though he is not far from any of us, for in him we live and move and have our being. Now, it reminds me that everybody has a God-shaped hole in their being, and some people try and fill that with work or family or their house or money. Now, if that's the case, you need to tell them stories from the Bible. Stories are engaging and they're easy to relate to. So if someone worships their job, you could tell them about the disciples that left their family business to follow Jesus and what effects that had on their life. If somebody worships money, you could tell them about a tax collector that left their career and left their money to follow Jesus, or the rich man that came to Jesus and, how do I get to heaven? You need to tell them stories so that they can actually see what it's like. You could even tell them stories from your life, how you've turned from something that you worshipped and turned to God. And you can tell them that everyone worships something, but only God is worthy of worship. That's the actual take home from this week. So if you could remember that, recognize everyone worships something, and remember, only God is worthy of worship. Can I encourage you to get out there, share your faith, give it a go, give it a crack, see what God does. See yous.